what's up y'all? This is Charlie. On today's episode I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my homemade fried cabbage with bacon. Now all this is fried cabbage. We take some pork joe bacon, which is a smoked bacon, which is cured with salt, of course. We cook that with some onion and garlic in a large pot until that is nice and caramelized and that bacon has released its fat. When the bacon releases its fat, from there, we add a little bit of butter, some cabbage, and my favorite blend of New Orleans seasonings. And what's going to happen is that fat that's been released from the bacon is going to fry the cabbage in the process. And as a result, the cabbage will also become caramelized, resulting in a wonderful, flavorful dish. This recipe calls for about 6 to 8 servings, and it is delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what y'all gonna need to make y'all fried cabbage with bacon. Let's get started with our ingredients. You will need 1 large head of cabbage, and this is about 4 pounds of cabbage altogether. Now you might need more or less depending on the size head of cabbage that you have, okay? And along with that, you're going to need 2 pounds of pork joe bacon. This is a smoked bacon, and the fat that is extracted from this bacon during the frying process, we're going to use that to fry our cabbage, all right? And for our seasonings, you're going to need 1 yellow onion, some garlic, Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. You could also use Zatarain's Creole seasoning or Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning, Chef Paul Prudhomme's Vegetable Magic, onion powder, and some garlic powder. And I forgot to mention that you're going to need some salted butter. And there you have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. We're going to get started by chopping up 1 yellow onion. It's just a demonstration on how I chop up my onion. Here we have about 2 large cloves of garlic that's chopped in half. And we're just going to chop that up until it's minced. Alright, here we have our cabbage. We're just going to chop the head of cabbage in half. And from there, we're going to chop the cabbage into quarter pieces. And once done, you're going to trim the stem off, just like as you see here. Alright? And you could discard the stem. Now you're going to take each quarter piece and you're going to cut those in half. And then from there, you can just chop those up. Alright, and this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, we have a little bowl here. We're just going to take our chopped cabbage and we're going to place it into a large bowl. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add our chopped cabbage into a strainer. Just a little bit at a time now. Not too much because we have a large bowl of cabbage here. And we're going to rinse our cabbage off with cold water. Okay, make sure you rinse that off good. Alright, now here we have our pork joe bacon. We're going to start by cutting the bacon into thick slices, just as you see here. So just a demonstration. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and take those slices and we're just going to cut those into small bite-sized cubes like how you see here. Okay. Just cutting that. Alright, here I have a bowl with the cut bacon pieces, and we're just going to add those into a medium-sized bowl. And there we have it. Now let's begin our fried cabbage. We're going to preheat our fire to medium-high heat. Alright, in a large pot, we're going to add our bacon pieces right on in there. And to that, we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of our chopped yellow onion and 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Now I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to give this a quick stir. And what we want to do is we want to caramelize that bacon and those seasonings, and that way the bacon can release its juices. Now we're going to let this saute for about 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes now, and as you can see at the bottom, there's some of those bacon pieces are stuck to the bottom of the pot. You just want to make sure you take your spoon and just scrub that off. There ain't nothing but good flavor right there. Alright. Now I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of melted salted butter, now followed by our seasonings. Let's add that. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Chef Paul Prudhomme's Vegetable Magic, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to give this a quick stir. You make sure that you're scraping around the bottom of the pot, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and add the first half of the cabbage right on in there. We're doing this into 2 separate intervals. Use your regular judgmental skills to determine how much cabbage to add, okay? Now we're going to cover this and we're going to let this saute for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright y'all, it's been about 15 minutes now. And we're just going to give this a quick stir. And as you can see, our cabbage has been fried down some. This is exactly what we want. So now we have more room to add the second batch of cabbage right on in there. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that right now. We're adding the second half in. And this should be all of it right here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my hand and I'm just going to salt that cabbage around, make sure it's good to go. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover this. And I'm going to let this saute for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes now. Let's add some seasoning. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of Chef Paul Vegetable Magic, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now we're just going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Now you want to make sure you take your spoon and you just want to scrape along the bottom of your pot. That's going to get that brown stuff from off the bottom, and that's going to play a role in the caramelization of our cabbage. Now we're going to go ahead and cover this, and we're going to let this saute for 5 minutes. Alright y'all, it's been about 5 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and take my spoon and I'm just going to give this one last final quick stir. And you want to make sure you scrape at the bottom of the pot to get some of that brown stuff from off the bottom. And you do that as you're stirring. That's going to play a role in the caramelization of our cabbage, and it's going to give it a wonderful flavor. That's right. Now after 35 minutes of frying, our fried cabbage with bacon is done. Look at how beautiful that looks. Now we're going to go ahead and turn our fire off. Now quick tip, if you have any oil buildup in your fried cabbage, you're just going to take your cabbage and we're just going to add that into a strainer with a pan underneath it. And while it's in the strainer, you're just going to give it a quick stir, and that oil is going to drain into the pan, and from there it's ready to be served. Now for best results, you could serve this the very next day so the flavors can settle and increase overnight. Here is the final presentation. Look at how beautiful and caramelized that looks. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, fried cabbage with bacon, made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. You can also check out this recipe, as well as all of my other recipes. Go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned, as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go eat and take a bite. This here. Look at that. Man, the flavor of this is just, oh. The cabbage is nice and caramelized. I mean, it gives it a very distinctive flavor, and then you have the flavor of the bacon and that little bit of seasoning that we added in there. It's really, really good. I mean, you could forget about the smothered cabbage. This right here is really, really good. So, give the recipe a try. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And until next time, have a good one. Peace. Nothing like homemade fried cabbage. Delicious.